What's a secret you'll never tell your partner but are willing to tell strangers? When I was 14, my grandma passed away. For years, I had been bothering my parents for my own gold necklace. Well, Gram had a little bit of money and she gave me the $300 for a gold necklace in her will. It was my pride and joy. I had it around my neck for 17 years before I met my wife. It was off my neck maybe 3 times in those 17 years. My wife, then girlfriend, knew how much it meant to me and asked to wear it once. Well, it never came home. She had lost it somewhere or it had gotten stolen. I was distraught like crazy for 3 or 4 days while we turned our house upside down looking for it. Inevitably, I gave up, but she was very bothered by it all. So, I decided to go to a pawn shop and buy the closest I could get to an exact duplicate, and then I told her that I had found the necklace in the couch cushions. To this day, she thinks that I found my necklace from my grandmother, but this is actually version 2. Whenever she's not home, I let the dog onto the bed and take a really comfy nap. I set an alarm for an hour and kick the dog off and clean the fur off before she ever gets home. I've been doing this for nearly 3 years now. Only 3 options to this: either your dog smells really nice, you smell like a dog, or she knows. My partner doesn't know how bad my mental health really is. She knows I've reached out for support but doesn't know the extent of help I'm seeking. I just can't bring myself to say those words to her. I hide how bad mine is a lot too. I think it's just a further symptom though. Not wanting to be a burden. That I am the one placing the googly eyes on everything in our house, not our 6-year-old. I will listen to a song 10 times in a row because I need to listen to all the instruments and melodies separately before moving on to the next song. One time we had half a container of ice cream left. I had a craving. I ate a bowl, then another. Then I decided to finish the tub to destroy the evidence. Then I realized she would notice that there was no ice cream left. So I went to the store, bought another tub, and then ate that one down to the same level. This was a gallon tub. That my wife always screams, she just doesn't seem to be able to talk at a normal level. Feel like she should be selling fish at a marketplace. Love her though. Maybe get her hearing checked. This is a constant issue in my family where the average age of hearing is 30. My husband loves talkative cats. When we first got our kittens, I gave them a treat every time they made a meow or chirp. Since I was working from home, they ended up becoming very vocal. He still goes on about how lucky we are to have such talkative cats on a weekly basis. My wife, while delivering our son, something she was terrified she would do. The nurse cleaned up very quickly and gave me a look that needed no explanation. I never said a word. She talked after delivery about how happy she was that didn't happen to her. I'll let her keep that peace of mind for life. I'm pretty sure every woman does that when they give birth, and we just lie about it to make them feel good. Her actions and her words are 2 different worlds. She says she wants something while she is doing the exact opposite. It's her business up to here. The problem is that she's putting a lot of pressure on me because of her words and actions. This part is my problem and have to solve it. I need to stop worrying about her and just mind my own business. It was an accident we met. I thought I was agreeing to see his friend, who was the other guy in the picture. That I wish she would find a career or pursue a degree so I don't have to work 1,000 plus hours of odd a year so she can sit at home. Tell her that. Show her financials, tell her it's draining so much out of you that you're burnt out. And if nothing changes, time to dip. You deserve someone who values your time. Sometimes I just sit in my car outside work or our apartment for 20 to 30 minutes because I need some time alone. I have my mind full to the brim at work and rarely get time in the house alone. Sometimes I just need it to be quiet and not have to pay attention to anything. Sometimes I want to just leave him with the kids for weeks and see if they'd survive. The reason I wasn't hungry that one day in Dublin was because when I stayed behind to get ready while she waited in the lobby, I ate the entire box of leftover chicken wings that we took home from the restaurant the day before. I ate 15 cold, oily chicken wings in about 5 minutes at 9 a.m. before heading out for breakfast. When I play video games and my wife isn't here, I narrate what I do and respond to fake questions from a non-existent chat like I'm some kind of big shot streamer. I even look at a fake camera when something happened lol. My wife hates her dad more than anything. We haven't talked to him much after he refused come to our wedding 2 years ago since he thinks she could do better than me. She is like him in so many ways, I would never have the heart to tell her. Our cat didn't break the towel rack. I did. I was pretending to be fighting zombies and grabbed it and ripped the goddamn thing off the wall. I heard her coming to check out the noise and looked down at my cat. She came into the bathroom to me asking my cat, "Why did you think the towel rack could hold your weight? You silly cat." I think it's totally reasonable to be pretending to be fighting zombies, but maybe you got a little too immersed in said fighting. Last night you made fried rice with shrimp. I ate the whole bowl even though it tasted nasty. God, it was awful. I never paid for her engagement ring. I went to a custom jeweler to have her ring made. It's a beautiful piece, and she loves it dearly, and it certainly wasn't cheap, appraised and insured for around $10,000. The jeweler was dealing with a lot of family issues at the time, and was incredibly disorganized. I went to pick up the ring and brought my checkbook to pay for it, and when she handed me the ring I took it out and asked her who to make the check out to. She said, "Oh no, don't worry about it right now, just send me a check in the mail." I thought that was strange, but sure, okay. She then hurried off to help another customer and I left. But she never told me what the final price was. For the next 6 months, I texted and called the jeweler asking, "Hey, just tell me what amount to put and I'll mail you the check," and there was always a reason she couldn't tell me. "Oh sorry, I'm out right now, I'll find it and text you later." Her shop was a few hours away from where I live, so it wasn't feasible to stop by and handle it in person. I tried for 6 months, but after that I stopped calling/texting and just figured I got the ring for free. I wouldn't tell my spouse, because I don't want her to think I took advantage of the situation or that somehow the ring isn't as meaningful because I didn't pay for it. I wouldn't stress. You probably just helped some criminal organization launder money. I've broken your personalized cup your sister got you 3 times. I recreated the design on paint and got some screen printing stall at the mall to print it on the cup. Each time it looks a little bit different, smiley face. When I asked her dad for his blessing I had some liquid courage first and I can't remember what his response was. Let's hope it was yes because we've been married for over 2 years. Every time we're playing Yahtzee and she asks, "Do I have one more roll or was that 3?" I always say one more regardless of the truth. That time I asked you if I could have the last cookie, I implied there was only one left when there was actually 2. I wanted both of them and didn't want to share. They were delicious and I have no regrets. My nieces don't like the aquarium. I just constantly took them there because I thought my now girlfriend, who works there, was pretty and thought if she saw me constantly taking them it'd lead to us talking. I have ridiculously complex and drawn out arguments with myself when no one's around. One of the me's is pretty cool, the other one's kind of a. That's as much as I love him, with all my heart and soul, even after a decade of being together. His relentless negativity and pessimism does my head in sometimes. It's been 4 years and I'm still super annoyed that he can't remember that one dream he had one night that caused him to laugh off in his sleep. I want to know the funny. I dropped the diaper rash cream container on our daughter's head when she was like 8 days old. She let out this scream that still haunts me. When he came in the room to see what happened I lied and said I just dropped the lid on her. How big was this container? Toothpaste tube size, quart, gallon? That I resent her for forgetting my birthday 2 years in a row. My wife's makeup looked terrible on our wedding day. My husband complains about being in pain so much that I feel like there's no room for me to be in pain. And sometimes I really resent that. I have a chronic health condition that I have no choice but to manage well because he wouldn't know what to do if he had to care for me like I have to care for him. Sucks, but it is what it is. What I actually paid for my woodworking tools. A former boyfriend of mine had a cat that he didn't treat very well. He never abused the cat, he just had depression and would get frustrated at the cat easily and not play with it enough. One time the cat knocked down his favorite plant and broke the pot, spilling soil everywhere. I took the blame, dealt with home being a lil bitchy at me, just to make sure he didn't get further upset at the cat. Never told him. Cat got rehomed, under his mature decision, and is doing very well. That I know the word she's looking for, but it's more fun to hear her rattle off increasingly ridiculous, sometimes made up words instead. My parents thinks he's gay. That his parents are really, me off and I do not want to be around them anymore. They're lousy grandparents to our son but not to his sister's children. I hate that he doesn't want to go anywhere, ever. Everything is always a chore or he dreads it. I want to go on hikes, random car rides, a damn picnic. Just get out of the house with him, just him. I want to go on dates, I'm growing very tired of this lifestyle. I am terrified that my partner will die because I know I am not really a functional adult outside of my work. I am good for playing with the kids, bringing in a decent income and making food, but the idea of single parenting and taking care of everything fills me with existential dread I have a hard time describing. My best friend is a badger and I feed him sweet corn every morning at 5:20 a.m. I got our toddler out of bed one morning and went to do a sniff test of their, to see if they had pooed overnight, and when I lifted my child up I stuck their head in the ceiling fan. Oh, and the time I forgot to put the car in park with them in it. That the thing that made me realize that I was in love with her is when I was taking a shower and got done, I walked into the room and she must not have heard me get out. She was laying on her side on the bed with her eyes closed, and she was picking her nose. I didn't want to embarrass her, so I stepped back out and from a distance asked where I set my clean clothes as I was walking back in, to make it seem like I was just coming in. She was visibly startled and quickly stopped, but continued to lay there with her eyes closed. I pretended that I saw nothing, But I couldn't help but smile. It was such an innocent and human moment. I have no idea why, but it made me realize right then and there that I loved everything about her. As silly as that moment was, there was a beauty in it, and I cherish that memory. I can't remember the last time I was genuinely happy more than just an in-the-moment feeling due to something happening. My default emotion is just depressed/tired. 15 years ago I had a new medication that did not mix well with alcohol. I had a party with friends, we decided to go out in town. Next thing I remember, I woke up in a cell at the police station stripped down to my undies. It turned out I took a taxi. Instead of going home I went to my mother's street. Apparently I was lucid enough to remember her street, but not her house, and ended up in her neighbor's backyard doing enough noise to wake him up. In the end I got a $400-ish fine and a tremendous amount of shame. That I actually prefer creamy peanut butter. I buy the extra crunchy because that's what he likes. That our daughter took her first steps 2 weeks before he saw her walk. But I kept it quiet until she walked while his parents were over. They were so excited they saw her first steps. I love her food, but I always feel bad when she's cooking for me. I have been molested 4 times by 4 different old guys, and I am male. Who wants to admit they ate 9 cans of ravioli? Working 3 jobs to support him and his lifestyle and the kids. He thinks I'm working 1. But he lost his entire family in the past 3 years and his grief is breaking him. So I don't mind working this much if it means he can take a break and work on his mental health. I love him. I'd do anything for him. No me but my friend. So his wife was really sick but was also extremely stubborn and religious. She believed that God will heal her. So he came to me and asked for a few of my sleeping pills. They're really strong and get you into a deep sleep quickly. So puts the pills in her drink, like clockwork. In 30 minutes she's out cold. He then asks me to help him get her to hospital. Next morning she wakes up in the hospital. Good thing too, course on top of that sickness she had stage 1 cancer. She survived and it's all good now. But he made me swear I don't tell her what we did. That she is far more similar to her mother and sisters than she would want to believe. Classic. I once suggested that my girlfriend's mental health issues were similar to her mother's. I was told to never suggest that again. My pants 2 days ago. Myself on accident trying to not be a 2-trip, running my groceries up to my apartment. Hey, thanks for subscribing and liking. It really means a lot to me. While you are here, feel free to hop on over to the last video. See you there. Ronnie.